Hey guys, it's Alyssa Lascala here from Fit with Liz. Happy Friday. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about what's called the military diet. Now, we all know there are a million different approaches to nutrition, dieting out there. You've heard everything from weight loss or Weight Watchers to Nutrisystem to Jenny Craig, the juice cleanse diets, paleo, keto. There are so many different things out there, but one that I hadn't heard of until last week is what's called the military diet. I actually heard about it from a friend of mine that was like, I can't believe that this isn't something that you've come across because it's literally all over YouTube. Like for the last year or two, people have been doing this thing called the military diet. And I was like, I've never heard of it before, but I'll go check it out. He was like, I saw some of the stuff that's on, YouTube, and I went on the website, and honestly, it doesn't look healthy, but it's called the military diet, so maybe it is. I'd like your feedback on it. And I'm like, I have to go check this out. Because then I asked my husband if he'd heard of it. He was like, yeah, but I didn't really look into it, but I've heard a lot of people that have done it and have asked me if I did it before. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to go check it out. So first thing I'm thinking is, if it's called the military diet, it probably has to be legit. Like, if you're naming it that, I'm thinking somebody from the military made this up. This is what they, do during boot camp to make sure, that they're in shape and they're qualified and all of these things, probably what many of you think. So I go on and I just Google, because I had no idea where to find it. I just go on Google and I type in the military diet. If you go to themilitarydiet.com, that's their official website. So first thing I do is I go on there and I just look at the diet and see what it is before I even start reading about it to see if I could even make sense of it. So guys, I'll just give you an example. This is supposed to be a 3-day diet. Their goal with this, their tagline, is that it's supposed to be the quick, efficient weight loss for somebody. These are the 3 examples they give. Someone that wants to get into a wedding dress, somebody that has a cruise that they need to all of a sudden be ready for, or somebody that has an ex coming into town. That's the 3 reasons why they said you would want to do this like crash diet. So people either do it for 3 days and they reach their goal and their ex came into town and left, or they had their wedding and then they're going on their honeymoon, whatever it is. Or you can do this for 3 days a week, and the other 4 days a week, you do whatever you want. You have a 1,500 calorie diet, and you're just supposed to, hop on this military diet train for 3 days, and the other 3, you just try and eat sensibly for the other 4 days of the week. So I'm like, okay, well, there in itself is it's basically crash dieting. I already knew it was going to be caloric deficit, but it was so much more than that, and I couldn't believe what I found. So this is an example of what they have. That as long as you have these foods, you will lose weight. That's what they say, up to 10 pounds. So for example, on the first day, you have 3 different meals. You have your breakfast is like half a grapefruit, a slice of toast, and 2 tablespoons of peanut butter with like a cup of coffee, okay? That's your first meal. Your second meal for lunch is half a cup of tuna, a slice of toast, and another cup of coffee. And then your third and final meal for the day, your dinner, is 3 ounces of any type of meat that you want, a cup of green beans, half of a banana, a small apple, and a cup of vanilla ice cream. And I'm like, oh my God, do I even want to keep reading this? But I'm thinking, if it's the military diet, they have to have some sense behind this. So I keep looking at the second and the third day, and honestly, it gets worse. They talk about incorporating hot dogs in there. Again, ice cream is in there every single day. And I'm like, I don't understand the process behind this. So I go from the diet tab that they have there to the how it works tab, why this is supposed to be so beneficial. So I go there and I look and see whatever the first reason they say this works is it's low calorie. No duh, you're in a caloric deficit. And the thing that you have to think about, guys, is literally it's the same meal plan for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. The only thing they say is if you're a male, you just have 100 extra calories a day. That's the only difference. Not how much do you work out, not anything. This is supposed to work regardless. Yeah, Andre, you say you don't even think it adds up to 1,500 calories. I know, this doesn't add up to 1,500 calories. They're just saying that the 4 other days per week, you have a 1,500 calorie diet because they're trying to do this fasting stage, and I'll get that into a second. So they say that this is low calorie. And of course, it's going to be low calorie for anybody. I didn't even bother adding it up because I know it's nowhere close to being either nutrient dense enough, calorically dense enough, anything. Then they say it works because it's a form of intermittent fasting. And I don't know how familiar you guys are with this, but I did a Facebook Live on this a couple of months ago. And intermittent fasting, the idea behind it is, you go anywhere from 12 to 20 hours without eating anything, and your body is supposed to start tapping into its fat stores because your blood sugar and your glycogen levels get so low that it starts to burn fat. You kind of go into a mini ketosis type thing. That's the idea. But if you go into their FAQs, which was the next thing that I went into for them, because I'm they have an FAQ section, and I knew that I wasn't the only one with questions about this, and I'm the answers have to be extremely scary. So they go in there and people say, you know, are you able to space out your meals? Do you have to eat everything at once? What are you supposed to do? Yeah, Andre, exactly. It's completely horrible for your health. So they say, when people say, can I eat all this food at one time? Do I have to space out my meals 3 meals at a time? Can I space out all these foods? They say in here that spacing out your food doesn't make a difference in the diet's results. As long as you eat all these foods for these 3 days, you'll see the same results. That's what they say. And then they say, so you can really eat whatever you want when you want, you just have to eat the foods that are on this list. That's what they say. So nothing really makes sense. Nothing's consistent. But so they say it doesn't matter when you eat, you can either have it spread out or eat it all at once. But then they say it's intermittent fasting, which means that's not even the same thing. That would mean that you have to go this extended period of time without eating. So none of it makes sense in there. But guys, my favorite part, my absolute favorite part that they talk about, and you guys want to be aware of this with any single diet, is in the FAQ when they have somebody ask the question, what about starvation mode? Like, with this diet, don't you think you're starving yourself and you're going to damage your metabolism, you're going to damage your adrenals and your hormone levels by going into a caloric deficit so low that, yeah, of course you lose weight, but aren't you going to damage your body? And what their response is to this, guys, like, I couldn't even believe it. I literally sat there and laughed. They said that starvation mode is the #1 internet weight loss myth. They literally say that it's a myth that starvation mode doesn't exist, and that since you're only on this for 3 days, you're not going to be able to do enough damage to your body. That's what they say, because they're hoping that people only do this for 3 days at a time, so that any injury that they really do to their body, kind of like if you're only sick for 3 days, like, it's going to be easy to recover from, versus if you're sick for a month, 2 months, whatever. But they say even if you do this every single week and you have 3 days on and then 4 days off, that's enough time for your body to recover that you don't go into starvation mode. Guys, that is total crap. Literally, the fact that they suggest that you have ice cream, hot dogs, they have cottage cheese, they have a bunch of dairy in here, and I wouldn't suggest dairy at all if you're trying to lose weight. You're going to retain a lot more water. It's just, there's so many things in here that I just sat back and I thought, you know how many people probably don't know how to pick through this diet and think that this is a military diet. This is someone that from the military that literally designed this, so this has to be good. I feel so bad that they take advantage of people's, vulnerability, and they use it as a great marketing tool, like the military diet. Who's going to think that it's bad? Only the hardest and the toughest people do the military diet. That's what they wanted you to think. They want you to think that as if you're hard as nails, and if you're somebody that can really be resilient, and if you're tough, you can get through this, and that means that you're a badass, basically. And when it comes down to it, I mean, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, because if you guys have found like some type of source that says that someone from the military created this, I would love to know, because honestly, they need some type of trainer or nutritionist in there. But I don't see it anywhere, and you can tell the person that wrote this, they tried to sound smart, and they're trying to sound scientific, but even just saying, oh, you do fasting and that's why this works really well, and then in an FAQ they say, really, you can eat your foods whenever you want. I'm like, oh my God, you're not even consistent. And then, guys, the last thing they say is that most of these foods, like grapefruit, like having coffee that has caffeine in it, like having proteins and fats in there, they say that it's metabolism boosting. They say that it's fat burning. So if you guys know, grapefruit does have like really great properties in it. It is one of the better fruits to help boost the metabolism and, start to mobilize fat. But Jill, thank you very much. I'm trying to educate people on it. If I don't know the answer for something, I'll definitely try and find it for you. But this is the stuff that matters. This is the stuff that really can make or break you hurting your body when you're trying to go through a diet. But when they said, I can't help but laugh, guys. When they say that they have coffee in there because coffee stimulates your metabolism because it has caffeine in there, guys, having too much caffeine is something that really contributed to my adrenal fatigue. And as a female, you can really screw yourself up. So they are literally relying on you having coffee in 2 of your meals or throughout the day, however often that you want, because you are increasing your heart rate, you're increasing your blood pressure because you had caffeine, and that makes you burn more calories. That is literally psychotic. That is the worst science that I've ever heard of. And then finally, they say, we have good types of foods in there, such as proteins from meats and from eggs and from peanut butter. They have protein and fat in there, and it takes your body more energy to digest those, so you're going to be burning more calories. That's kind of like saying it takes your body like a lot of energy to be able to digest a Big Mac because it has a lot of fat and protein in it. It doesn't mean it's good for you. I go like bananas just thinking about this. It's nuts. Jill, I know that you asked what are my thoughts on intermittent fasting. I actually did a video on that already. So if you want to go back and look at it, you can. It's on my YouTube page. It's in my my lives from my Facebook page, and then it's on my Fit with Liz website. But intermittent fasting, it really does depend on the person. Females, it's a lot different. You really shouldn't go as much much of an extended period of time without eating, because our hormones are a lot different than males. So you can absolutely go back and look at that. I go into greater detail with that for sure, but it depends on the person, and your time frame in which you want to fast is different per person, and male versus female. So if you guys have ever tried the military diet, I would love to see your comments below what you thought about it. But honestly guys, anything that basically is just saying eat these foods as long as you have saltines and ice cream and you have a couple of those hot dogs and some peanut butter toast and caffeine in there, you'll absolutely be fine. Like, let's be realistic. Honestly, I think that I could say, oh, here's the water military diet, and I'll see if I can, make that a huge fad, because you can lose 10 pounds just by drinking just water for 3 days, or by cutting your calories in half, exactly like they do. It doesn't mean that it's healthy for you, but that's the quick fix that they're hoping you and your vulnerable, desiring self are going to hop onto this little train, because it's a free diet. That's what they say, and it's going to bring you the results that nothing else does. Well, what's going to happen after you're done getting into your wedding dress, or you're done that cruise? How are you going to maintain that body for your honeymoon? How are you going to maintain that body for the rest of the summer? So you want to make sure that you're not damaging yourself and your insides through these types of crash diets. So if you guys have any questions about what my opinion is on specific diets, and you have ones that maybe I haven't heard of, feel free to comment below, and I'm always looking to go in and pry and start to go through things with a fine-tooth comb to be able to bring you guys the facts and what science really speaks about it. So enjoy your weekend, guys. Happy Friday.